Circulation and Respiration Chapter 42. Circulatory systems. Closed circulatory system. Vertebrates. Blood enclosed in blood vessels and heart. Lymph. Lymph system. Interstitial fluid. Functions. 1. Transportation substances needed for cellular respiration. A. Respiratory. CO2 and O2. B. Nutritive. Glucose. C. Excretory. Metabolic wastes, ions, water. Functions. 2. Regulation. 3. Protection hormones. Temperature regulation, endotherms. 3. Protection. Clotting. Proteins, platelets. Immune defense. WBC, AB. Components of the system. Heart. Blood vessels. Blood, hard four-chambered separate systemic and pulmonary blood systems. Systemic circulation. Blood flow in the body. Pulmonary circulation. Blood flow between the heart and lungs, circulation. Circulation. Heart structure. Atrium. Small chambers receive blood. Ventricles. Larger chambers pump blood from heart. Septum. Separate chambers. Septum. Heart structure. Valves. Atrioventricular valves, avenue between the atrium and ventricles. Tricuspid, right. Bicuspid or mitral, left. Semiumar valves. Exits from the ventricles. Aortic valve, L ventricle. Pulmonary valve, R ventricle. Valves. Heart structure. Heart sounds. Lobe. Valves closing. Lobe closing of the avenue valves. Dub closing of the semilunar valves. Murmur. Abnormal heart sound. Heart structure. Superior and inferior vena cava. Brings blood to heart from body. Pulmonary arteries. Blood from right side of heart to lungs. Pulmonary veins. Returns blood from lungs to heart. Aorta. Blood goes from the heart to body. Heart structure. Coronary arteries. First branches off the aorta. Supply blood to the heart. Coronary arteries. Circulation. Path of blood flow. Blood flow. Vena cava. Right atrium. Tricuspid valve, avenue, right ventricle. Pulmonary valve, semilunar. Pulmonary artery. Lungs. Blood flow. Pulmonary veins. Left atrium. Mitral valve, avenue. Left ventricle. Aortic valve, semilunar. Aorta. Blood flow. Blood flow. Cardiac cycle, one cycle of heart filling and emptying. Diastole. Heart resting. Heart filling with blood. Avenue valves open. Semilunar valves closed. Diastole. Blood flow. Systole. Ventricles contracting. Pumping blood out of the heart. Avenue valves closed. Semilunar valves open, systole. Blood pressure. Measurement of pressure of blood in the arteries. Systolic measures ventricular contraction. Diastolic measures ventricular resting. Sphygmomanometer. RBP cuff. Brachial artery. 120/80 normal, blood pressure. Cardiac output. Volume of blood pumped by left ventricle to the body per minute. 5 liters per minute. Depends on heart rate. Stroke volume. Amount of pumped out per contraction, 70 milliliters. Cardiac output increases with exercise. Increased HR. Better stroke volume. Blood pressure. Cardiac output. Flow resistance in the arteries. Affect BP. More constriction, higher BP. More dilation, lower BP. Baroreceptors. Aorta and carotids. Medulla oblongata. Blood pressure depends on blood volume. Decreased volume. Decreased cardiac output. Decreased BP. Conduction. Depolarization of heart muscle stimulates contraction. Heart contains autogenic cells. Self-stimulate. Synode, sinoatrial. Pacemaker of the heart. Located in our atrium wall. Near the superior vena cava. Conduction. Synode causes atrium to contract. Sends signal to the avenue node. Avenue, atrioventricular, node. Located in wall between our atrium and ventricle. Sends signal to the bundle of His. Contraction. Bundle of His sends signal to the Purkinje fibers. Ventricles contract. Avenue. Bundle of His. Purkinje fibers. Conduction. Conduction. EKG. Electrocardiogram records electrical impulses of the heart. P wave. First wave. Atrium contraction. QRS wave. Ventricles contracting. T wave. Heart repolarization, EKG or ECG. Vessels. Arteries, arterioles. Veins, venules. Capillaries. Arteries. Arterioles. Capillaries. Venules. Veins. Capillaries. Blood vessels. Vessel structure, except capillaries, inner layer is endothelium. Next is a layer of elastic fibers. Smooth muscle layer. Connective tissue. Capillaries. Endothelium only. Arteries carry oxygen-rich blood away from heart. Arterioles. Smaller arteries. Larger the artery. More elastic and recoil as blood is pumped. Arteries. Vasoconstriction, contraction of smooth muscle and arterioles. Decrease blood flow. Vasodilation. Relaxation of smooth muscle. Increase blood flow. Precapillary sphincters. Regulate blood flow. Veins carry oxygen. Pour blood to heart. Venules. Smaller veins. Less smooth muscle. Skeletal muscles constrict. Help flow of blood to heart. Venous valves. Help blood flow to heart. Prevent backflow. Capillaries. Passage of oxygen and nutrients into cells or extracellular fluids. Passage of carbon dioxide and wastes from cells to blood. Blood. Blood plasma, matrix, yellow metabolites, wastes, hormones. Ions. Proteins. Albumin, fluids, globulins, antibodies, fibrinogen, clots. Cells. RBC, WBC, platelets, blood cells. Blood formation. RBC, erythrocyte, O2 and CO2 transport hemoglobin, protein. Erythropoietin. Hormone, kidney. Stimulates RBC production. Erythropoiesis. RBC production from stem cells. Spleen, bone marrow and liver remove RBC. Hem. Hemoglobin. RBC. WBC, leukocyte, larger than RBC, contain a nucleus. Fights against infection and FB. Interstitial fluid as well as blood. Granulocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. Non-granulocytes, lymphocytes, monocytes, WBC. Platelets, megakaryocyte, bone marrow, cell fragments, clotting. First to site of injury. Fibrin, protein that forms clot. Platelets. Clotting, tissue damage. Platelets arrive, cascade reactions start. Prothrombin changes to thrombin, enzyme. Changes fibrinogen to fibrin. Forms clot. Fibrin. Blood, more RBC than WBC. Hematocrit, measurement of RBCs in the blood. RBC last about 120 days. Lymph system, interstitial fluid. Fluid from blood plasma that leaves the capillaries. Surrounds the tissues. Lymph. Returns to circulation via lymph system. Lymph nodes, lymph vessels and organs, spleen and thymus. Edema, swelling of tissues, usually ankles or feet. Interstitial fluid cannot be returned. Low protein, albumin. Liver disease. Heart disease. Pregnancy. Varicose veins. Too much blood in legs. Valves, veins do not work. Flutter. Atherosclerosis. Aneurysm. Infarct. Pacemaker. VSD.